What is a new virus in 2025? So, for all of y'all who've been paying attention to the news, there's been a lot of viruses happening in different places and parts of the world. In New York City, there was a Legionnaire's virus, I believe. The Legionnaire's virus, it was rampant a few weeks ago. And two people ended up losing their lives, and eight people were hospitalized. And now, and they say in New York City that the COVID cases are going up now. COVID cases are on the rise, as well as more people needing vaccines. And now you have the West Nile virus, to where it's now in Jersey, and it's also in New York. And now in China, there seems to be a virus that's happening as well. I believe it's called chikungunya virus. This case is on the rise, and many people are panicking. Many people are wondering what is going on. First, we had coronavirus 5 years ago in 2020. Now these viruses are on the rise. What's happening in this world? Why we're hearing about so many viruses? Y'all, in the Bible it did say that these things will happen in the last days. Not only does the Bible talk about wars, rumors of wars, but it also talk about plagues. So, there will be different plagues across the world. And some people, everybody has their own theory. Some people believe that COVID and all these different plagues are man-made. Some people believe that it just was in the air. And some people believe it's God's judgment. Whichever theory you stand on, because I know everybody got their own opinion. We just have to always stay prepared, because these are a sign of the times. These are a sign of the times to always get right with God, because, what amazed me about the pandemic was a lot of people, during coronavirus, we had a lot of people to where they were bowing down in the street. They were screaming. There was reports, even news stories. I'm talking about real reports of people bowing down the street, crying out to God, praying to God, and praising God during COVID. But my thing is, many people, they do this in hard times like coronavirus, but what about today? Those same people that's bowing down to God on the street during coronavirus, where are they today? Are they still doing the same thing? Because sad as it is, many people, they run to God when life hits them hard. When, COVID hits, when tragedies hit, when hurricanes come and all these different various world events, when terrorist attacks hit. But my thing is, why don't people run to God even in good times? The sad part is, regarding the whole coronavirus 5 years ago, is that many people were quick to run to God back then. But as soon as places start opening up, as soon as places started opening all these different stores and all these different lounges and all these different places, a lot of people used to go to a club before COVID. Then now after COVID starts to go down and all these cases start to drop, now people are running back to a club. What the sad part is, many people who are praising God on the street, they probably went back to living their regular lifestyle. Because many people, they're quick to run to God when they're in fear of their life. They're quick to run to God when trouble hits them. But how come a lot of people don't run to God in these type of situations? How come a lot of people don't run to God when these things are happening? Many people, they have to be very aware that God, He knows our heart, and He pays attention to you. You can't just run to God in bad times or in hard times. You should run to Him every day, every second, every minute, every hour. You don't just say, "Oh, I'm a child of God, I'm running to God now," when life hits you rough. No, because that's not right. But all these cases that's happening, guys, just always be careful. Be careful who you eat from. When you go out, use basic hygiene. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer. Because, we're in the final hour before Christ returns, and these things have to come to pass. A lot of Christians, they try to act like the last days is going to be something sweet. It's not going to always be sweet. The Bible makes clear what happened in the end times. Wars, rumors of wars, the love of many will wax cold. Plagues, famine, these things have to come to pass before Christ returns. We cannot run from it. We cannot escape from it. As far as Christ, we're going to go through our tribulations. The Bible even said in the last days, many will be killed for Christ's name's sake. So we have to understand that being followers of Christ, it's not always going to be easy. It's not going to always be peaches and cream. Look at the 12 disciples. 11 of the 12 disciples were killed for Christ. They were killed, and God's going to allow this thing to happen to many people, because also many people refuse to follow God. We're in a world to where many people, they refuse to hearken to the voice of God. Like, let's look at Sodom and Gomorrah. God said He would spare the city if He even found 50 righteous people. God couldn't even find that many people, and that's why that city was hit with fire and brimstone. And mind you, today we're worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's be honest, society is worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. You see all the stuff that people nowadays, you see all these agendas that media is pushing. You got people talk about, they're creating their own category of what they are. You got people talk about they're not even a man or a woman. All these things where it's so have so many different agendas that's being pushed nowadays. You got people give up in marriage. You got people to where they rather run to the enemy than run to God. So of course God's gonna allow some of His judgment to take place. So when people say that these plagues can be God's judgment, I don't blame them one bit, because you have to understand how a lot of people are living. A lot of people, they don't care about God. They don't care about the King of Heaven. A lot of people, they just have a me mentality. Me. What's best for me? What's best for my life? And too many people, they're staying focused on politicians and the news and all this stuff, but how come the focus is not on God? Because guess what? When God's protecting you, even when these viruses come, when God's hand is over you, who will protect you? Like I'm gonna be like me, y'all. When COVID hit, I was almost 20, I believe. Yeah, I was almost 20. I was fresh in college. I believe I was in my sophomore year of college. And guess what? When COVID hit, I was never afraid, because it's funny. Because I worked in the hospital, and guess what? When COVID hit, I had some of my coworkers who were afraid to walk down a certain hallway. They were afraid to walk past patients because certain parts of the hallway had COVID patients. Like right down where I worked, there was COVID patients right at the end of the hallway. And some of them were scared to walk down there, to go upstairs, to go to the exit, because my job had different exits. But me, I wasn't. I put my mask on. I use basic common sense, but I walked right past. I walked close to the department, went up the stairs where the exit was, because I'm not going to be more afraid of a virus than I'm afraid of God. I'm just frankly not, because God is the one who protects me. He's my refuge. He's one who shields me from harm and all danger. A lot of people, they like to talk that God talk, but their actions show if they have faith in God or not. The actions show. COVID, and guess what? God sends over me to a point that I never had COVID. I never caught COVID. I took all, they talk about get tested and all this. Listen, I took all this tests, never at one time tested positive for COVID. Never even had symptoms. God protected me throughout the whole thing. And guess what? I worked right there in the hospital. Worked right there around those patients. Never caught it even one time. So people understand that your faith should be in God, because when your faith is in God, God can protect you. God can shield you. God, there was even Christians who got COVID, and guess what? They ended up getting healed because God spared them. God, He sent His angels a healing. His hand was upon them. When God's hand is upon you, you ain't got to worry about a virus. You ain't got to be listening to a fear agenda that the news media brings. Because news media have you scared and panicking and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Oh no, I'm afraid what might happen. Oh no, I got to get hand sanitized. Like when COVID hit and all these different viruses come, like it was so crazy the way some people were acting. You have people buying up like 10 million toilet papers. I remember Amazon ran out of hand sanitizer. I remember when COVID hit, Amazon ran out of hand sanitizer. It was not even funny. I remember like it was so bad. There was such a shortage of hand sanitizer that I believe Amazon was selling hand sanitizer for like $100 a piece. Like it was bad. I remember that. For some people who young and you were a teenager, or you were a little kid, you probably didn't realize what was happening at the time. But for us who were adults and in your late teens or teenage years, like 14 up, you were fully aware of how bad it was. But at the same time, this is why people gotta run to God, because what we're seeing now in society is going to be a glimpse of what the 7-year tribulation is going to be like. Because the 7-year tribulation is going to be much worse. It's going to be much worse when the Antichrist comes. You see, when the Antichrist comes, I'm not looking to stay. I'm not looking to be here. When the rapture hits, I should be gone. I'm not looking to stay on this planet when the 7-year tribulation comes. 7-year tribulation for those who rejected God and they want to live life their way. Me, I'm not looking to be here at that time. I'm just frankly not. And I pray that many of you are not here. We need to stop having the news media put fear in all of us with all these virus agendas. Every minute they talk about some new virus. And of course, I'm not, it's good to be aware of what's happening in the planet. Be aware because, it helps us take precaution and know what to avoid and what to do. But at the same time, you got some people to where they running. News media says, oh, you got to wear 2 masks. Some people were ready to run to buy 4 masks. They're ready to put 4 masks over their face. News media says, oh, the virus could come through your eye. You got people walk around in broad daylight with face goggles. The news media talk about, oh, stop wearing blue masks. Wear these N95s. Like, people just run to the news media rather than they run to God. Listen, the only person who can shield you from these viruses is the Most High God, because there was many people in COVID, so they never even stepped outside their house. And yet they still caught it. And there's been many prophecies There's been many people who said that God prophesied about that virus that's coming. And many people have said that might be even worse than COVID. So we just gotta always stay prayed up. There's always to ask God for his hedge of protection around us. Always make sure we're in good standing with God. Ask him for his angels to surround us. And that we continue to that he continues to keep us safe. And also, we also do our parts as people. And how can we do our part? By making your immune system strong, taking vitamins, taking vitamin C, taking multivitamins, eating good, exercising. You want your immune system to be strong. Because when you eat all that fast food and all that stuff, and you eat it too often, and you start to become obese and all this, it ends up hurting your body to where your body has a hard time finding off diseases, finding out viruses. Because God naturally made your body to fight off viruses. So you always want to make sure that your body is strong. You drinking your water. I'm not saying you can't have sweets every now and then. That's not what I'm saying. Because I definitely have, I will definitely eat candy and all that every once in a while. Every now and then. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're consistent and keep our body fit and firm. Not walking around, out here being 5'5", 300 pounds. We want to make sure that we're in the best shape. So that God, he can not only protect us, but we want to make sure that our immune system is strong to help fight viruses. Because we're in the last days and these things have to come to pass before Christ returns. And since Christ is at the door, we cannot run from this. So nevertheless, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, and have a blessed day.